Shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone. And we're going to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakam.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and our fellow occupants who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as the Israelite foreigners, or so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, we're just going to get right into it. This is yet another installment of our For Thy Violence Against Thy Brother Jacob. We're going to be dealing with the George Stinney case about the young man who was falsely accused of abusing, just to put it lightly, abusing two Edomite girls, Edomites also known as the so-called white man, for their brutal murder and alleged rape. So we're just going to get right into it. And just so you know, we'll put a link. We're going to get the high points of this video, of this article, and then we will put in the link of the comments the actual article where the information is coming from, and also stitch a small clip video to give another summary of what happened on who George Stinney was. All right, so we go ahead and start.
It says, excuse me. It says George Junius Stinney Jr., born October 21st, 1929, died June 16, 1944, was an African-American boy who at the age of 14 was convicted and then executed, and the proceeding later vacated as an unfair trial for the murders of two young white girls in March 1944. Betty June Vinegar, age 11, and Mary Emma Thames, age 8, in his hometown of Alcolu, South Carolina. He was convicted, sentenced to death, and executed by electric chair in June 1944, thus becoming the youngest American with an exact birth date confirmed to be sentenced to death and executed in the 20th century. A re-examination of Stinney's case began in 2004, and several individuals and the Northeastern University School of Law sought a judicial review. Stinney's murder conviction was vacated in 2014, 70 years after he was executed, with the South Carolina courtroom that he had not received a fair trial and was thus wrongfully executed.
So yeah, he was both wrongfully convicted and executed. And what you're going to see throughout this series, For Thy Violence Against Thy Brother Jacob, there's a recurring theme where Jake is always accused of doing something to the so-called white woman. Okay, and Jake understood the punishment for doing that. Now they didn't care when they did it to our women, because there was no trouble for it. Okay, but when it came to us, there was a huge penalty, even with no evidence. All right, but there was never any issue against them. So somebody get the Wisdom of Solomon 2 and I think 11.
I got it. All right, this book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 11. It said, "Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth."
So he said, let our strength be the law of justice. And we know according to Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. Who was the wicked? Esau, Edom, the so-called white men. And that's the thing, his strength, which is his wicked laws, okay, also the sword is what he does. He says, and let the feeble be found nothing worth. Who's the feeble? That's us, the Israelites. All right, because the earth is given into his hand. We really, it's hard to come against him. It's hard to come against him because he is the sword of the Lord, according to Psalms 17 and 13. All right, and that's what he does. He uses his laws to, keep us convicted and try to get rid of us. Ultimately he wants to kill us. But if he can't do that, he definitely is going to take you out of the function society with his grievous laws. All right.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Woe going into, destruction, man. And to them that devise iniquity. Who is this talking about? Mainly Esau, Edom, man. All right, because, hey, like the brother was saying, we understand that the Lord was, the Esau is in power right now. All right. And what did they choose to do with their power, man? Destroy the nation of Esau. The nation of Israel, man. All right, they that's all Esau wants to do, man, because they ultimately want that birthright back, and they not gonna get it, man. So they in power right now, and they choose to do what they power. Like I said, is to destroy Israel, man.
I got a quick precept to back you up on that. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 94, verses 20 and 21. Verse 20, and it reads, "Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law?" And who's the throne of iniquity? That's the nation of Esau, Edom. They're in rulership right now. That's what the throne symbolizes. Okay, and it says, "Shall it have fellowship with thee?" No, their fellowship is, like he said in the very beginning. The days of my father Isaac are dead. Pretty much when he dies, I'm going to destroy my brother Jacob. So they've been wanting to destroy us since the beginning. All right, that's been a long, perpetual hatred. Okay, and which frameth mischief by law, and that's exactly what has happened here. What the Ox said in the opening. That he was wrongfully convicted, and wrongfully executed. That's what it goes into. Verse 21. And it reads, "They gather themselves together against the souls of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood." And that's exactly what happened. From the police that did the investigation, okay, to certain witnesses, even witnesses that was Jake, even witnesses that was Jake, had him to lie about some stuff. You'll see that in the article, okay? And what they did was, they came against this 14-year-old kid, who wasn't even tall enough to sit in the electric chair. All right, and that's what they did. They condemned him, with that execution. He was the youngest to die ever, without proper representation. Couldn't see his parents during the whole process. But there was a fear of lynching. So yeah, this is a whole mess. All right.
Got something for you.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 3. It says, "Why doest thou showest me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance?" So this is Habakkuk, is asking Yahweh Shai Shai, because we're here, we're seeing all the things that are going on from police brutality today, modern days time, and then thinking about now the truth that's coming out of what we're actually seeing and what our people had seen and been exposed to, as far as this young man being falsely accused. And it said, going further, he says, "Why doest thou showeth me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance?" So we're watching and being grieved by all the things that we're seeing, present, current, and things that are soon to come, future time. It says, "For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that rise up strife and contention." So of course everything that's come out of this system that we're seeing, especially with the violence against our brother Jacob, it's been strife, it's been violence, it's been a lot of contention that comes from these people, which goes into trouble, spoiling, and plundering. Last verse, it says, "Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth." And so, because we're not in our rightful order, to keeping and upholding the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father, we have been put in a place of being under the foot of our enemy because of our transgressions. And because of that, we're seeing how a wicked ruler rules. He says, because the law is slack, so they're not pushing forth the laws of the Heavenly Father. And of course, we didn't do it, but now we're seeing how even worse it could be. Yep. It says, judgment never go forth, and the wicked doeth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. So as we're starting to see the wrong judgment has been preceded through this man who the scriptures say that we should never trust. And of course through the prophets, they're being exposed for who they really are.
Yep.
Yep, that's it.
Yep. Like anything else?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay. Yeah, you want to get into that background a little bit?
You want to skip through it a little bit?
Yeah, you can just hear it.
Alright, it says on March 23rd, 1944, the bodies of Betty June Binneker, born December 9th, 1932, and Mary Emma Thames, born March 14th, 1937, were found in a ditch on the African American side of Alcolu after the girls failed to return home the night before. Stinney's father assisted in the search. The girls had been beaten with a weapon variously reported as a piece of blunt metal or a railroad spike. Binneker and Thames both suffered severe blunt force trauma, resulting in penetration of both girls' skulls. According to a report by the medical examiner, these wounds had been inflicted by a blunt instrument with a round head about the size of a hammer. The medical examiner reported no evidence of sexual assault to the younger girl, though the genitalia of the older girl were slightly bruised. It says the girls were last seen riding their bicycles looking for flowers. As they passed Stinney's property, they had asked Stinney and his sister Amy if they knew where to find maypops, a local name for passion flowers. According to Amy, she was with Stinney at the time. The police later established the murders occurred. According to an article reported by the Wire Services on March 24, 1944, the sheriff announced the arrest of George Junius and stated that the boy had confessed and led officers to a hidden piece of iron.
So if you really catch that part, you know, she's contending that she was with her brother at the time that was established, okay? But we know, you know, my father used to tell me, you know, growing up in the South like that, you know, 100 so-called black people could tell the exact same story. You know, all it would take is one white person to debunk the whole thing. You know, and that's just how it was in the South, which, you know, you're going to see here that happened with these so-called white witnesses like those police officers. All right?
So somebody got a Psalm 58:3 real quick.
Psalm 58. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 3. 58 verse 3 says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
So also, we know the wicked, according to scriptures, who Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. It's on this book of Malachi 1:4. That says the wicked are estranged from the womb, meaning ultimately they are already a strange nation. All right, from the minute they be born, they are a nation that are not nigh unto Yahweh Bashiyah Shai. It says as soon as they be born, they go astray, speaking lies. So from the beginning, man. Okay, this devil, Esau, Edom, so-called white man, has been full of nothing but lies, man. Truth does not dwell within this devil, man. Nope. And we see this example, man. They just straight up lied on the boy, saying that he led them to the iron, or this, that, and the third, you know, that he confessed and things of that nature. Right, when ultimately it was found out that he was not guilty of those things, man. But ultimately it goes back to the perpetual hatred between Jacob and Esau, that enmity between Jacob and Esau. Ultimately, Esau, his hatred has led him to do unjust and vile things towards the nation of Israel, such as this, man. And this isn't the only case, man. Right, there are many other cases of so-called black men being wrongfully convicted and put to death based off the lie of the so-called white man or white woman.
And when you actually go through the article, you know, there was no written account of his confessions or anything. So it just goes to tell you it was all made up. You know, nothing that he signed. You know. Everything, it was hearsay.
Well, he was he was very underage, you know, compared to like now time what they do with their legal laws of saying like that a kid could be on trial as an adult, you know, 15 years of age, and sometimes it might be in certain states a little bit younger. But the thing about it is they took the parents. No one was able to be in there with them. And with the authorities. I don't know if it's going to go into that in that read, but he was alone for the vast majority of that time, under the care of these people. In a time frame where previously, because this is 1944,
Yep.
but like going back previously several, some years back, where these mobs would just walk in, they
Yep.
they could just get in and bum rush, the jail cell
Yep.
and pull the people out.
Yep. Yeah, this is all like, this is what you call the Jim Crow era, because you got to remember, even though slave owners received reparations for the loss of property, they were still mad because they didn't have any stand. This is the South, which what the Confederacy was fighting for. Them dumb monkeys will tell you it'll be for a heritage. No, you were fighting to preserve the right to have slaves. Okay, that's what you were fighting for. So that's where the Jim Crow was real heavy, in the South. That's not to say it didn't happen in the North, because there's a huge account of a lot of stuff happening in the North. You get a lot of accounts of that in a book called Without Sanctuary. But Esau's going to have to pay for this. He's going to have to pay for this. That was a 14-year-old kid. I mean, even though we know the scripture says no one perishes being innocent, that execution, the way they did it was foul. Yep.
Yeah, precept.
Go ahead.
Because the brother brought out that Psalms 58:3, saying that the wicked are estranged from the womb. All right, so I'm gonna get this precept real quick in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 13 and verse 23. It says, "Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leper his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil." All right, so hey, if the wicked are estranged from the womb, all right, they accustomed to doing evil, man. And it ain't nothing you can do to change Esau's spirit, man.
Nope.
All right. So they wickedly accuse George Stinney. They wrongly accused him of the death of the murder of these two women, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and they didn't have no problem doing it at all. All right, and Esau, they that same spirit that they have is still here today, man. They just have to suppress it, man, because times are different. But if Esau was allowed to do the things that they were doing back then, they would still do it, man.
Yep.
All right, because you can't change Esau at all, man.
Nope. I just want to back you up on that, what you just said. You can't change them. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 13, and it reads, "Consider the work of Yahweh, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked?" So, hey, this dude is not going to change. It tells us the same thing in Isaiah 26 and 10. While he is in rulership, it says that favor be showed to the wicked, yet he will not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness he would deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of Yahweh. Okay, and that's the thing. He has no consideration for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. We see what he's doing in our land right now. It's totally defiled. Totally defiled, and doesn't even have all of it. According to the scriptures. Okay, but yeah, he says he's in rulership right now, so he has favor, but he will not learn righteousness. That dude is the absolute worst. They are as a people, and their system is just all messed up. All right. Yep.
This is going to the investigation. It says George and his older brother John were arrested on suspicion of murdering the girls. John was released by police, but George was held in custody. He was not allowed to see his parents until after his trial and conviction. According to a handwritten statement, his arresting officer was H.S. Newman, a Clarendon County deputy, who stated, "I arrested a boy by the name of George Stinney." He then made a confession and told him where to find a piece of iron about 15 inches, where he said he had put it in a ditch about 6 feet from the bicycle. In 1995, Stinney's 7th grade teacher, W.L. Hamilton, a black man, spoke in an interview with the Sumter item about George. Hamilton stated, "I remember the day he killed those children. He got into a fight with a girl at school who was his neighbor. In those days, you didn't have to worry about children carrying guns and knives to school, but George carried a little knife, and he scratched this child with his knife. I took him outside, and we went for a little walk, and I talked to him. It says we went back into the school in a submissive way. He begged for the child's pardon, Stinney's sister, Amy Ruffner, denied those allegations and contacted Hamilton after it was published. So, hey, this seventh grade teacher they talked about, it sound like a foot tapping Uncle Tom coon, man.
Yeah.
You know, and lying on his own. But hey, this ain't the first time, man, because you know throughout you know history and time in general, you know amongst the nation of Israel, there has always been sellouts, man. There has always been those who've been willing to bow down and tap their feet hard for the heathens, man. Beginning with the so-called white man Esau, Edom, man. So hey, this ain't nothing new, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's that? Zechariah 11:5. Let me grab that. Here, I get it for you. You got it? I get it for you. Okay.
This next little line goes into it. It says, Amy stated, I asked him why he would say something like that. She said, he told me someone paid him to say it. I don't know who paid him, but his exact words were, because they paid me. Hamilton died shortly after his interview was published, man. So hey, this dude sold out for money. Right, live from, because hey, once money is in the picture, majority of Jake's integrity flies out the window. So this
scripture say the gift destroyed the heart.
Yep, the gift destroyed the heart. So this dude, he done sold out for money, and after he lied on the boy, guess what, man? The Lord judged his ass, man. Took his ass out the world, man. Reap what you sow.
Well, not only that, when he said he was killed shortly after that interview, dude, you didn't expose the people. You know, ain't no telling who you told on. They took him out.
Yeah, but the thing is too, like the apostles, you heard the apostles and our elders say, it's like, man, you can buy a nigga cheap. You know, so it's like he sold out. Yeah, they said you can buy a nigga cheap. So it's like so he sold out, and knowing the severity of what speaking against the truth, can be. Of course, Yahweh Shai, in the end, he allowed for all, like he said, there would be no stone left unturned. All things will be made manifest. And so we're seeing just through these examples that, through the spirit of Yahweh Shai, to show who these people are.
Yep.
And that is a sign of a 2/3 who will actually sell out, and then you see shortly after what his demise was.
Yeah, this is you got that Zechariah 11:5.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
It's book of Zechariah chapter 11 verse 5. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
It says, who possesses slay them? Whose possession are we in right now? Esau, Edom's, and the stuff that they do, they hold themselves not guilty, even though it was later found out that it was, an Edomite who actually did commit these murders, okay? It says, and they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich. This dude sold out, okay? This dude sold out his own brother, okay? It says their own shepherds pity them not. And this, that's talking about the leaders at the time, but in this case, his teacher was a leader for him. He had no pity for him. He just confessed to a story that, he had no knowledge of just because, over some money. All right? And that's what that tells us in Exodus 23:2. You got it?
Okay. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 23, and verse 2. It says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to rest judgment.
And that's what he did. He had no knowledge, that evil is, bad times, That's exactly what that teacher did. He spoke in the call to bring upon judgment of George Stinney. He followed the so-called white man. And we saw what his demise was after he, did that interview. That's the same stuff that happens today. You're seeing it every day now in the entertainment industry. All right, but yet and still, I think the brother said that he read that 70 years after that they exonerated him, which is it's messed up. His life is gone. Over false accusations that they knew was false. And those Edomites that accused him, are going to have to pay for that.
Well, I don't know if it's going to go into it, but the thing is, even at the time, the young man actually had told him, yeah, I seen the girls,
Yeah.
I did see them, so he was innocently speaking to them and trying to help the authority. They actually were going through the search, for the little girl, the parents and everything.
Yep.
And so, and they had word that it was a so-called white man who was of an affluent family.
Yep.
And so they had both pieces of evidence of who it could have been, but it never reached the affluent side.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. In that Wisdom of Solomon 2:11, he went after the feeble, who was found nothing worth. They weren't. It was here again. That's what we was talking about earlier before we started the video. That whole open and shut case motto came from convicting Jake. It came from finding him wrong because he really had no defense. They could just make up stuff like they do now. Perpetual liars. That's the brother brought out before. All right. Anything else? Okay. So with that, you got something?
No, it's still some more.
Oh, Slocky. Go ahead.
It says, following Stinney's arrest, his father was fired from his job at the local sawmill, and the Stinney family had to immediately vacate their company housing.
Wow.
The family feared for their safety. Stinney's parents did not see him again before the trial. He had no support during his 81-day confinement and trial. He was detained at a jail in Colombia, 50 miles from Alcolu, due to the risk of lynching. Stinney was questioned alone without his parents or an attorney.
Just real quick, it's something he had mentioned early, where he was like his parents. They were somewhat well-to-do as far as the rest of the blacks. His father had a pretty decent job, that could take care of, his family. And during that time, that's pretty good. And of course, immediately or shortly after, he had to uproot his whole family. He lost his job because another part that I come across, they were saying that just like they do now, today's time, if there's any allegations, let's say like with Kanye, there's certain allegations, then they would take his shoe deal or some type of contract.
Yep.
If there's an allegation, and that actually is what happened to the father. Because of the allegations of the son, the company in which he worked for did not want to have any associations with him, so they got rid of him.
And then we already made mention of it, but he was only 14 years old, man. All right, and he we just read in the passage, man. It said he had no support. His confinement for 81 days, man. And a 14-year-old kid, they don't really know what's going on, man, for the most part. All right, so you got to think how that made him feel, man. All right, he was wrongly convicted, and then he couldn't even see his parents, man. Yeah. They couldn't get no support from his parents at all, man. And then if you go further down on, it speaks about how. Are we gonna get into the trial, or?
We can get a little bit into it. We can get a little bit into it.
There's a couple of key points.
Yeah, a couple of key. But just like you were going into, as we went on into the article, he was too small to sit in the seat.
Yep.
They had to prop him up on the Bible, which begs the question now: did he really have the strength and wherewithal to do the damage to those girls that they said he did?
Right.
All right. So yeah, if you want
Two
to two girls. God.
There's just a couple key points I wanted to hit, during this trial or whatever. Okay. All right. So it said during his trial or whatever, Stinney's counsel did not call any witness, did not cross-examine witnesses, and offer little or no defense during the trial. All right, so he didn't have no support from his family. They wasn't allowed to, and as well as during his counsel during the court, man. So they already knew what they wanted to do to Stinney, man. All right, and the two girls that had got murdered during March of that year, and he was executed in June. So it was only like a 3-month period from the death of those girls until he was executed, man. So Esau already knew what they wanted to do, man. All right, so that goes to show you, the scriptures tell you in the book of Sirach 12:10, hey, to never trust our enemy, man. All right? Because Esau is always going to, at the end of the day, they always going to show their horns, man.
Yep.
All right? That's all. I ain't want to get too deep into it.
But what you bring up actually is the first two verses. You brought out Psalms 53, 58 and 3 earlier. You go into verses 1 and 2. Psalms 58. All right. Verse 1. And it reads, do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Verse 2. Yea, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. I want to get that in the NLT just to clear that up. It says, justice. Do you rulers know the meaning of the word? Do you judge people fairly? All right? No, just you plot injustice in your hearts, you spread violence throughout the land. So that's pretty much straightforward what they did. All right? Yep. So yeah, you know, we Esau's got to pay for this. You know, and you know, as we bring out in the scriptures all the time, you know, Amos 1:11, you know, for that perpetual hatred, he will not turn away the punishment thereof. You know, because you have you know, you cast off all pity for us. For roughly paraphrasing, you know, Revelations 13 and 10. You know, he who led into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. This is the patience and the faith of the saints. All right, and then what's the other one? Colossians 3 and 25. He that doeth wrong must receive for the wrong which he hath done. And there's no respect of persons. Okay, so you know, you got it coming. You got it coming. As the scriptures say, he has reserved the wicked, you know, for the day of wrath, according to Job 21:30. All right. So yeah, anybody got anything else? All right. So with that, we hope this lesson was edifying for the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, we're going to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rahakadash.
Love and honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and our fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth that fly to the speckled bird, also known as the Israelite foreigners. To whom we say Shalom.
Shalom.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.